Monday 15th, 2016. Are you hungover for Valentine's Day? You still got that sugar high? Well, it looks like Mother Nature's got a little sugar high, and she is spitting out the sugar.
Winter storm Olympia, yeah, getting in on that here in the south. The chance for some showers, possibly some strong storms later on.
Yeah, we do have also a huge warm-up that is headed towards the center of the country and also into the northeast. We're talking about record-setting heat. Welcome into America's Morning Headquarters for weather. I'm Stephanie Abrams alongside Chris Warren.
We also have Anna Rodriguez and Dr. Greg Postel here as well. We're tracking Winter Storm Olympia this morning.
Now, if you've never heard, some people do call snow sugar, you know.
Sugar.
They actually call it sugar, so that's why I made that reference there. But not only do we have sugar, but we also have freezing rain and the threat for severe weather as well.
Here's your sugar right here, some snow. This was earlier this morning in Tyson's Corner, Virginia. Area already at least an inch of snow.
Oh,
there goes the cloud.
Clouds are out. That's good. So Mark Elliott is in Roanoke, Virginia, covering the snow that they've had fall there. They've already had about half a foot starting to measure up.
Yeah, it's adding up for sure. Meteorologist Mike Seidel is in Charlotte, but we start with Dr. Greg Postel with the latest on where that storm is right now.
Yeah, it's snowing in some places pretty hard across southern Virginia, all the way from the coasts back to the mountains. Let's look at the maps, and I can show you that area in dark blue, at least moderate snow visibility underneath the mile. It's accumulating reasonably quickly. I mean, you know, you get light or moderate snow, I guess, snowing for 6 hours, and you get a bunch of on the ground, bunch of it. Look at all these reports, all these like little dots right in here. My goodness, there's a lot of it there, and some places have gotten over 6 inches. Roanoke, right about 5.5 so far, and that's a 24-hour snowfall accumulation. Most of that's come in the last about 10 hours. So, you know, maybe a ½ inch per hour is the kind of rate we're talking about, but that's enough to cause problems on the roadways. And you can see on this map, really, there's not a lot of roadways to show because what it does tell you, if it were actually showing up the right way, in moderate here, we have a lot of these blue shades here for some of these roads, suggesting that the roads are moderately covered in snow and ice. But check this out. Out near Roanoke, we're getting a lot of major problems here with traffic. And in particular, some of these roads out here are heavily covered with snow and ice. So speaking of Roanoke, let's go to Mark Elliott. He's there and can give us a feel for what's going on there right now. Marky.
And Doc, I will say it's a good thing that it is a holiday today. President's Day has kept a lot of people off the roads. There's been a lot of closures for those things that were going to be open on this President's Day. So the road volume is low, and that's allowed for the road crews to try to keep up with this snow. As you mentioned, we're getting about ½ inch per hour snowfall rates. And because of that, we are seeing some problems on the roadways. Behind me, we have I-581 and 202. This is the intersection here. We've got some on-ramps, those circles. Again, the amount of traffic is light, and that is good news because we've seen several cars kind of skidding and fishtailing their way up this on-ramp. The bridges and overpasses obviously have been a little extra slip-slidey today as well. So the road crews have really been focusing in on this.
Wow.
Well, Mark, let's time it out now for everybody. You can see there at Roanoke, probably by about, I don't know, late tonight or tomorrow morning, you go over to all rain. That's going to be like it is elsewhere across the coastal sections of the Northeast. Let's go to the maps and I can time it out for us, showing you that it's not just Roanoke that's going to see the rain, but it is going to be D.C. and New York eventually. But you got to get through a few more hours first. Let's do that. Let's go through the next few hours across parts of the Mid-Atlantic. And you can see snow will be breaking out and moving northward. Even New York City is going to get some snow. But look where the rain snow line is later on this afternoon. That's not going to take very long for it to move northward and get into the I-95 corridor in southern New England. So hang on a couple of hours. It's going to get a lot warmer that way as well. And by overnight tonight, snow will be confined to northern New England. But even there, by tomorrow morning, probably goes over to rain thanks to the westward track of this low pressure system going that way, bringing up a lot of warm air on its east side. So that warm air is going to be jamming into most of the Northeast. And look at that. What is this? Yes, it's maybe a line of thunderstorms. I think it is. And there's some really fast winds aloft that could make some of those thunderstorms kind of gusty in places. Steph and I will have a look at that in just a little bit. But good news, gosh, by Wednesday, it's all cleared out and not super cold on Wednesday either. So overall, I think we're stair-stepping our way out of the worst of winter. Let's look at the snowfall amounts as we go through the next 24 to 36 hours. A few inches here and there, of course, less as you head to the coast. Steph, back to you.
Okay. All right, so let's have a look at what we are dealing with here in the southeast. The cold air is getting shoved down basically the eastern side of the Appalachians. And just a few hundred feet in difference of cold air can make or break you from freezing rain to sleet. So that's why the forecast is so rough. But what's going to happen is you can see that cold air kind of pushing this warm front down. The warm front is going to overtake that, and that's why you are going to see that rain make its way all the way up the east coast that Dr. Postel was talking about. Right now, there's just not a lot of moisture out there. Our dew point all morning in Charlotte was around 8, and our air temperature was 28. So it's very dry. The farther the temperature and the dew point are from each other, the drier it is out there. But we're going to moisten up the atmosphere with this south-southeasterly flow, Mike, a little bit later in the day. Thankfully, though, they're getting ahead of this in Charlotte.
They are, and by the way, the dew point now has climbed to 12, so what we're doing is we're kind of wet bombing. You look upstairs and temperatures are above freezing, so the only result here, as you've mentioned all morning, Stephanie, is going to be the freezing rain, the freezing drizzle. They have pre-treated the roadways. We can see evidence of that on the ramp going to 277, looking towards the skyline of Charlotte, the Queen City. See that white residue substance on the side of the road, the shoulder? Well, that's the pre-treatment. They're either using calcium, a mixture of calcium and salt, or they may be using a mixture of brine solution. We saw that on Interstate 85. It's been stuck at 28 all morning. The airport last hour reported a little bit of light freezing rain. Up in Greensboro, where they had 2 inches of snow overnight, they had freezing drizzle. That's ended. Raleigh's still some freezing drizzle. So, you know, it's touch and go on what's falling, but everything that's falling now in the Western Carolinas, except up in the mountains and near the Virginia line, is on the light side. Ski resorts looking good. Snowing all night in Boone, North Carolina. They get up there today because the warm air is going to head up that way later tonight and tomorrow. Much like here, the forecast, anything that's frozen will change to rain, Steph, by around dinner time tomorrow. 58 and mostly sunny. So there you go. A quick hitter and then a big meltdown.
It is so ridiculous. Yep. Of course, on the backside of this, though, we're actually going to pick up some very heavy snowfall in the eastern Great Lakes here and also portions of the Midwest. So here are the advisories that we have posted. Anything from winter storm advisories to freezing rain advisories into the southeast. How much frozen precipitation are we going to get? This is just for freezing rain. This is not sleet. So we're talking about anywhere from 1/10 of an inch to 2/10 of an inch starting to pile up here. Is that a lot? No. We're not going to talk about widespread power outages or huge branches coming down. Definitely more of a nuisance thing. So here we have a look at our radar right now. Again, that moisture starting to fill in. Look into South Carolina here and North Carolina. You see that some of that moisture is starting to come on in along the I-95 corridor. As we head throughout the afternoon, there it goes. That southerly flow brings it in from the Atlantic and the Gulf. But look at that heavy snow on the backside. Did you see it kind of roll through? Then we have a little blip of energy that's going to bring us some precip as we work our way through the next through the day on Tuesday. So Raleigh, it's icy for you. You know, there's been hundreds of flights, Anna Rita said, have been canceled. Yeah. You're almost better flying in later in the day because we're going to transition to the rain.
And a lot of them are coming out of the Carolinas. Let's get you up to date on what's happening in regards to Winter Storm Olympia. FlightAware reporting about 500 flights canceled today. Charlotte Douglas Airport in Charlotte, North Carolina, and Reagan National in Washington leading the list in cancellations. In North Carolina, freezing rain and icy roads causing numerous crashes this morning in and around the Raleigh-Durham area. The Virginia DOT says it has nearly 2,500 trucks working the roads on its side of the Washington, D.C. metro, and New York City warning against slick and dangerous roads. Snow expected to change over to freezing rain tonight. Steph, of course, these numbers are going to change throughout the day.
That they will. Well, we're tracking things with Olympia this morning, but for parts of the Deep South, there's another weather worry for you. As we look live at Panama City Beach, Florida, coming up on AMHQ, weather and the threat of tornadoes exists in the south. We'll track the trouble areas after the break.
Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
want to say hello to our friends in New Orleans and Mobile, Alabama. Of course, Mobile is where Mardi Gras originated. They claim it did. And New Orleans is best known for Mardi Gras.
And we are looking at some rain coming soon here. We're going to see a chance for some storms as well.
Yeah.
There's a risk of, even a slight risk of some tornadoes if there's, some of the big storms.
There are. But as you look at this, we do have our cold pocket aloft. So cold air wants to sink. So that causes convection, which is what we're seeing this morning. A lot of lightning. Not a lot of moisture. This is our water vapor imagery. The pinks and the blues show the moisture. But down where we have the threat of severe weather along the Gulf Coast, it's still really dry. And I say down there because our Cape, the only potential for a little oomph in the atmosphere is right here, but it's mainly offshore.
So but if we do get some of that coming onshore, and you possibly get a little bit of spin, some of the storms start to rotate, and that's when it's possible you could get maybe a possible tornado out of this.
Right, but first we have to moisten up the atmosphere. Our dew points have been right around 55 degrees all morning. In order to get severe weather, your dew points have to be at 55 or higher, so we're still moistening it up.
And if you're in Memphis right now, you're saying, oh, it's moist, baby.
That's true.
It's wet right now. You can see that the flash flood warnings that are currently in effect until 9 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, over the last 3 hours, we've seen 2 to 4 inches of rain right where that flash flood warning is located. Remember, a warning means that it's imminent or it's occurring, no matter what it's for. So that means that flash flooding is imminent or it's occurring, opposed to a watch, which just means conditions are favorable for that.
And now we saw the lightning associated with it, letting you know these are some pretty intense showers right now.
That upper level low is
right,
causing
here it
that
comes.
convection, yeah.
So we're seeing this Nashville later on this afternoon, some rain, but the stronger storms again to the south, maybe some hail, some damaging winds a possibility.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be more of a squall line thing here with some heavier rains and some gustier winds, but some heavy snow on the backside of this thing too, with all that moisture wrapping around.
Right. So here's the area, the best chance for some of the strongest storms. Again, 3 out of 10 on the Torcon, 30% chance of a tornado within a 50-mile radius of any point in these areas.
Yeah. All right. So that's a look at your severe weather. It all shifts eastbound tomorrow into the Carolinas, where they just had snow on Friday. So they're kind of all the seasons. Otherwise, that heavier rainfall is going to be up towards Tennessee and also in Kentucky.
And you, Dr. Postel, are going to look at the Northeast and the chance for some damaging winds coming up.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
Well, folks in the Northeast still dealing with the bitter cold. And let me tell you, it was cold this weekend. It was so cold that Boston broke 2 cold records in 2 seconds just before the clock struck midnight Saturday. The city hit a record low of -4. The temperature held past midnight into Sunday morning, making that a record too. Things will be much better today with a high of 28. It's all relative, right? But that's still more than 10 degrees below average. This cold air is affecting the MBTA trains in Boston, and we want to bring in Caitlin Flint from our affiliate NECN. She joins us live. We know that they run on air braking systems, and when they see these temperatures, we see delays.
That's right. And they, of course, Anna, just have a lot of steps they try to take to get ready for weather when they see temperatures like what they've been seeing this weekend and into this morning. So this morning we are seeing things pretty good here. So far, so good. Very minimal delays as far as the MBTA is concerned. But as I mentioned, there were a lot of things that were done overnight to get ready for this morning. Now, subway trains, we're told, were actually kept inside the tunnels. This was a way for them to keep them from that extreme cold. The MBTA also says to get ready for the weather, hundreds of workers worked overnight. Crews did replace 1 rail overnight. And they also said, as you mentioned, one of the main risks from this kind of cold is the freezing of the train's air systems. And those systems operate things like the brakes as well as the doors. Steps also were taken over the weekend. Saturday night, the MBTA says that crews worked on preventative measures to combat that. The temperatures being so cold. They also said that they actually had to use measures including a snake kit, which is actually where they end up lighting the rails on fire with soaked material, and that's to warm the tracks because of the actually broken tracks due to all the cold. So far so good. We're also told that the volume is a lot lower today because of the holiday, which is a positive thing, and also that many of the systems operating on a holiday schedule. So we'll be monitoring that, but here so far so good as everyone continues to try to stay warm. We're live in Quincy this morning for the Weather Channel. I'm Caitlin Flint.
Thank you so much for that live report. Chris, you know, the volume may be lower because it's a holiday weekend, but that doesn't mean that people can't, don't have the need to get to work.
Exactly. Let's take a look at what you can expect with your weekend in view. Even though you might be back to work today on this President's Day, still probably looking ahead to the weekend, so we have you covered there. Today, it's still going to be cold in the Northeast, but tomorrow, totally different story. 30s and some 20s for highs today. Then tomorrow into the 50s, just like that in the Northeast. Any snow showers closer to the Great Lakes. And then on Wednesday, a little bit cooler, but sunshine in the Northeast. Next system moving in to the Intermountain West on Thursday. Quiet throughout the Southern Plains and the Deep South, but warm warming up. It's going to be 83 in Dallas on Friday. This weekend, sunshine, 49 in Chicago. Denver will be in the 60s. Atlanta pushing 70 degrees this weekend. On Sunday, similar story with some clouds moving into the Mid-South, and from Texas all the way over into parts of Alabama and Tennessee, going to have the best chance for some of the showers. And stay with us here. A lot of people, in fact, millions of people have had to deal with the cold, and we're going to take a look at when we're going to warm up coming up.
I asked my dentist if an electric toothbrush was going to clean better than a manual. He said sure, but don't get just anyone. Get one inspired by dentists with a round brush head.
Go pro with Oral-B. Oral-B's rounded brush head cups your teeth to break up plaque and rotates to sweep it away. And Oral-B delivers a clinically proven superior clean versus Sonicare Diamond Clean.
My mouth feels super clean.
Oral-B. Know you're getting a superior clean.
I'm never going back to a manual brush.
Here's something new. Now you can get the Weather Channel forecast on the new LL Bean app. Just tap, shop, and discover. The new app from LL Bean, featuring forecasts from the Weather Channel. Download today.
There has to be a way. Carry the centimeter, divide by 3.14, something. Great Caesar salad! And now, the Name Your Price tool shows people policy options to help fit their budget.
Is that a true story?
Yeah, people really do save an average of over $500 when they switch.
I mean about you inventing it.
I invented the story, and isn't that what really matters? So, what else about me?
Don't miss Founders Days at Pep Boys. Get $40 off any brake service package starting at $99.99 after mail-in rebate. And when you buy 3 select tires, you get the 4th free instantly. Trust the boys to get you there.
Homeowner Protection Services can help save your home. We specialize in foreclosure assistance, and that's all we do. If you're behind on your mortgage payments, being threatened with foreclosure, have been denied a loan modification, or been the victim of a predatory loan, it's critical that you call Homeowner Protection Services now. Homeowner Protection Services has a network of attorneys, and our agents are available to speak to you now. New laws are in effect that may save your home. So call Homeowner Protection Services now.
There's a lot to stop and see this President's Day at Nissan. Reinvented capability, enhanced safety, and reimagined design. 5 exciting new models. This is Nissan Now.
For a limited time, get up to $2,000 bonus cash on top of existing offers on select models. Get your new Nissan now. Shop your local Nissan store and choose Nissan.com.
You know what makes me a weather geek is owning like 5 weather stations at my house, and then I name them. Who does that? Seriously. I did. I named my weather station Albedo. For you weather geeks, you'll understand what that is. And then I have Albedo Jr. Don't ask. Join the Weather Channel fan community at WeLoveWeather.tv.
Stay tuned for your local on the 8s powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Building the only truck with the best fuel economy. An award-winning engine. And a 9,200-pound towing capacity takes guts. Overcoming any obstacle, that's the glory. Get a great deal on the trucks that give you both during Ram Truck Month. Now get 0% financing for 60 months, plus up to $2,000 truck month bonus cash on 2016 Ram 1500 trucks.
Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain, 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain, 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Just about 20 minutes past the hour on this President's Day. Let's check in on your travel. We know Virginia getting clobbered with snow this morning, especially the western part of the state. Take a live look at 495 in Fairfax County, 95 in Richmond. Accidents already reported around the Beltway on 95 South. When it comes to Richmond, really west of you in Roanoke, 6 inches of snow.
We're seeing that snow pile up. In some areas, it's just on the side of the road, but other areas, it's on the road legitimately, and so it is a bit on the dangerous side in some areas traveling. So here's a look at the radar. So where the snow's coming down right now, that is the blue. Then you have the purple and the pink colors. That's where there's either some sleet or some freezing rain happening.
And I noticed some sleet in parts of northwestern Virginia and the local storm report database that you guys look over. So if you're timing it out, when is this going to turn into rain?
Well, so the later we go to the day, we're going to see that warm air. You're just going to watch it from the south move up from the south to the north.
All right. Steph and Dr. Postel checking in on the airports. 500 cancellations. National leading the pack. No delays, but a list of airports de-icing this morning.
That's for sure. We want to take it in Virginia, where they were freezing yesterday. A waterfall in Pembroke. Now, this is close to Virginia Tech because our weather producer said, who went to Virginia Tech, said that this is a very popular hike, Greg. 2 miles straight up. She's like, it's literally straight up. So somebody got very brave, put on a lot of layers, and hiked hard.
Yeah, risk sliding back all the way down.
Yes, exactly.
At best, right?
It's beautiful, though, so we appreciate your hard work and your effort, because it kind of looks like there's chunks of ice flowing over this, or that it's just freezing mid-air at times. Now, of course, all that cold air made its way out to the Atlantic, and you could see that from space, and there's really cool stuff that happened with that.
Yeah, when you get the cold air flowing over warm water, oftentimes you get spectacular visible satellite pictures from space, like you do with the Great Lakes snow events. This is kind of the same thing. It's just over the ocean. You have that cold air spilling southward like that. It was coming out like that. Yesterday afternoon, it was barely above zero in many of these locations, and it was running out over water temperatures over the Gulf Stream that were in the 50s and 60s. So
it's going over relatively warmer air, and so that's rising up, and then it hits the cold air, and it cools and condenses. You get the clouds. But I think this is the coolest part about
Isn't
the
that
whole
great?
thing.
It does take a while for that very dry air to pick up enough juice to actually form a cloud. So it's dry here right when it leaves the beach, but then about 100 miles later, there's enough there to get it saturated. So
these clouds have an asterisk by their name, if you will, never getting into the Weather Hall of Fame. Juice. Did you get my juice reference there? That didn't translate. It just wasn't that funny.
Oh, I'm not that quick. So
no, I think it just wasn't that funny. But anyhow, let's move on, since that joke totally bombed.
Let's go. Oh, so now. So that was yesterday. Let's talk about now, right? The cold air. Still -1 in Burlington. There's some spots in here they're probably like 10 below.
This is without the wind chill, too, by the way.
Without wind chill. So let's go ahead, Brandon, and then show you how we can get rid of some of this cold air. We have to sort of go through some trouble to get rid of the cold, meaning snow and ice moving through. But rain snow line by 6 o'clock, maybe close to New York. So only maybe an hour or two after that, you get rain into the I-95 corridor there.
Yes, but what's going to happen is this whole low pressure really starts to develop. Tomorrow, it gets better organized, and so we have the chance of heavy rain and very strong winds, and we were talking about that.
What's that? Is that a
nice
line of
squall
thunderstorms? The model suggests there'll be a line of thunderstorms moving through perhaps New York, perhaps Boston, and here's why we think maybe some of those could have some gusty winds. Only a couple thousand feet above the ground, right when those thunderstorms are moving through, we are going to have winds over 90 miles per hour, and it doesn't take a whole lot of tumbling in the atmosphere to bring some of those stronger wind gusts down to the ground. So we're not saying there's going to be 90-mile-per-hour winds. It doesn't work that way, but there could be some gusty winds with those showers or even thunderstorms that move through tomorrow evening. That's the segue to spring.
That it is. All right, well, we are already starting to see that spring, even summer, I feel like, in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, feeling it. We look at the camera right now, live look at Oklahoma City, and a little bit of a shake going on right now. We are going to watch these temperatures warm up. It's in the 40s right now, and we are going to see these temperatures throughout the southern plains really soar 10 to 30 degrees warmer than average. This is why we're watching this warm air expanding east, the ridge building in, and as it does, it's going to provide the stage. It's going to set the stage for some of that very warm air, and that's what we're going to be dealing with here throughout much of the southern plains into Texas. You can see that warm air is going to be with us under the ridge. You get about 10 to 30 degrees warmer than average, warmer than what you might expect this time of year, and this heat really includes Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas. Texas is where some of the warmest temperatures in the country are going to be. Today, even Laredo is going to be close to 90. It'll be 87. Houston, 77, 72 in Dallas, and then then Amarillo and Midland, upper 60s and lower 70s. It's going to get even warmer in the coming days. 80 million people, though, under winter weather alerts because of Winter Storm Olympia. Our team coverage continues as the threat for freezing rain and ice increases from Georgia to the Carolinas.
Looking for 24/7 digestive support? Try Align for a non-stop, sweet treat goodness. Hold on to your tiara kind of day. Live 24/7 with 24/7 digestive support. Try Align, the undisputed #1 GE recommended probiotic.
Legend says Thor's hand made a hammer mighty. Well, in some hands, every tool becomes mighty. An all-powerful impact wrench. A supreme on-car lathe. The 4,000 ASE certified technicians of Firestone Complete Auto Care prove a tool's only as good as the hands behind it. Firestone Complete Auto Care. Whatever you drive, drive a Firestone.
Pure is big, bold, and just better. Pure is McCormick. The smallest pinch of Pure McCormick can make meals legendary. We want to help you realize the rich taste that Pure can bring, because Pure tastes better.
Is this really the best way to pick color for a whole room? There's a new way to paint. With the new Project Color app, take any color on a virtual test drive. It's part of the new Color Center experience from the Home Depot. Everything you need to get the right color, right. In hand, online, and at the store. Guaranteed one-coat Behr Marquee, just $40.98. Download the Project Color app. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Imagination. The all-new Civic from Honda.
Staying in rhythm. It's how I try to live. How I stay active. So I need nutrition that won't weigh me down.
For the nutrition you want, without the calories you don't. Try Boost 100 calories. Each delicious snack-sized drink gives you 25 vitamins and minerals and 10 grams of protein. So it's big in nutrition and small in calories.
I'm not about to swim in the slow lane.
Stay strong, stay active with Boost.
Hi, this is Connor. Sorry I missed you. I'm either away from my desk or on another call. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you just as soon as I'm available. Thank you for your patience at this busy time.
Join Princess Cruises for stargazing with Discovery at Sea. Book now for savings up to $1,000 per stateroom, plus up to $600 free onboard spending money. Call your travel consultant or 1-800-PRINCESS. Princess Cruises. Come back new.
One day, a rider made a decision. The decision to ride on and save money. He decided to save money by switching his motorcycle insurance to Geico. There's no shame in saving money. Ride on, ride proud. Geico Motorcycle. Great rates for great rides.
Currently in our area, 69 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain, 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain, 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain, 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Beltone is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology. You will be asked to evaluate a remarkable product that's virtually invisible. Call 1-800-BELTONE.
And Olympia is bringing snow to places like the Mid-Atlantic, even portions of the South, and some ice as well. This is all going to be transitioning into rain, at least for the I-95 corridor. It's starting off as rain here to the southeast. There is a threat for some storms. We'll talk about those parameters coming up. And then the big warm-up. It's not only for the center of the country, but also into the northeast. That's your big picture at 30 minutes past the hour here on America's Morning Headquarters for Weather. I'm Stephanie Abrams alongside Chris Warren, who's in for Jim Cantorbi today.
Hey, we have a lot to talk about today, Stephanie. Snow, a whole wintry mess. There's also a severe side of things, but it's the snow that's really got our attention right now.
We are double fisting that snow as well into the northeast and also into the south. We were going to take you into North Carolina, where they're getting a taste of Olympia. This is from Val Crucis, where winter storm warnings in effect until noon tomorrow. A band of light snow pushing into that area today, but you're going to see a mix, and that's the thing. And the forecast is very, very hard because everything's going to be transitioning over to warmer stuff.
Yeah, eventually, then turning where we have the snow into kind of a slushy mess. You know, it's kind of like cruising around in a slushy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I like slushies.
Giddy up.
What flavor, though, is the question, right? Let's now go to where we've seen about 6 inches of snow being reported this morning. That's in Roanoke Airport, and that's where we do find Mark Elliott this morning. And Mark, it seems like they're actually being able to keep up with this in Roanoke. The roads don't look too terrible behind you.
They're doing a decent job, that's for sure. It was a little bit dicey earlier this morning. Just before sunrise, the roads were certainly in worse shape than they are even right now. But President's Day is helping out a lot. The traffic volume is so much lower today than it otherwise would be. And anything that was going to be open has basically been canceled at this point because of the weather that we're seeing. Let's take a look at some of the roads behind me here. We're right at 581 and 202. And this has been a tricky spot on this on-ramp from 202 onto 581. They just came through again. In fact, here comes the fleet of plows as I'm talking to you. They are have been going out in these formations, putting down salt and sand for traction, especially over these bridges and overpasses, because those are the real tricky zones right now. I will say that we're already starting to see some of the warming coming in aloft. It's actually changed over the type of snowflake that we've got going on right now. About an hour ago, it was mostly needles and real fine portions of ice crystals falling because it was cold from where we're standing all the way up to the atmosphere. Now we've switched over to those classic kind of paper cutout dendrite shapes, showing that the temperatures are warming up, and we're starting just now to see a little bit of sleet mixing in, and that will transition for the rest of the day. We're talking sleet and eventually even freezing rain on top of the 6 inches of snow that's already fallen. So Dr. Postel, this kind of precipitation changeover zone is going to be a tricky forecast for the rest of the day.
Yeah, the timing of it is hard, and that was a great explanation of the different types of snow you get with the different conditions aloft. But right now across parts of Virginia, we still have a lot of snow and accumulating 6 inches plus in some of those spots. It's not coming down hard, as you just saw in Mark's shot, everywhere. And even in some places, maybe the lowest visibilities that I found are about a mile. So it's not crazy heavy snow, but it's ongoing, keeps going and going like the Energizer Bunny, and leading to accumulations, as I said, in some places more than 6 inches. It's going to be a while for it to get out of town, and you can see on our forecast maps, slowly but surely warmer air works its way in northward to parts of the Piedmont into the middle Atlantic. Will transition, I think, by later on this afternoon, most everyone to rain, except for maybe the higher elevations of western Virginia. By later on tonight and tomorrow, even they will go over to rain, and then we have to transition our thoughts to northern New England, where they'll be dealing with some snow and ice probably tomorrow morning, but probably over to rain again as warmer air comes in from the south later on in the afternoon. That is going to be the theme with this storm taking a track over the Ohio Valley. On the warm side of it, eventually gets the warm air even to the far most northern spots. Steph,
okay, so you need warm air in order to cause severe weather. You also need moist air. And so let's talk about our dew point temperatures here into the southeast, because in order to get severe weather, you have to have your dew points at about 55 and higher. So look where they are right now along the I-10 corridor. And I point out this area because this is the only area where we have that potential for some shear as well and some oomph in the atmosphere. So you have to have all the ingredients in the right place, obviously, to get severe weather. Otherwise, you do have that colder air that's nosing closing down into the southeast. Look at this warm front kind of getting pushed south, but this is going to overtake us, and we will see our temperatures on the rise. We're talking 50s in the northeast, which is just mind-blowing. A lot of this lightning here is because we have a cold pocket aloft that's causing some instability in the atmosphere. Also rain, heavy rainfall just south of the Memphis area, 2 to 4 inches in just a matter of 3 hours. But again, that threat of severe weather only exists right along the Gulf Coast because that's where you do have some of that spin in the atmosphere. The Cape isn't very high. Helicity isn't very high for our meteorologists out there. But I do think that we'll see a squall line come through. Tomorrow, much more rain than we have wintry weather, and it all shifts to the east here. Eastern Carolina, that's where we could see some of those severe thunderstorms popping off. How much rain? Overall, pretty much 1 to 2, but some of those places into Tennessee and Kentucky could see a little bit more. Well, the transition from snow to freezing rain across the mid-Atlantic is going to be a quick one. We're timing that out. Plus, what you need to know before getting on the roads after your local on the 8s.
I don't want to live with the uncertainties of Hep C.
Or wonder whether I should seek treatment.
I am ready.
Because today, there's Harvoni, a revolutionary treatment for the most common type of chronic hepatitis C. Harvoni is proven to cure up to 99% of patients who've had no prior treatment. It's the one and only cure that's one pill once a day for 12 weeks. Certain patients can be cured with just 8 weeks of Harvoni. With Harvoni, there's no interferon, and there are no complex regimens. Tell your doctor if you have other liver or kidney problems, HIV, or other medical conditions, and about all the medicines you take, including herbal supplements. Taking amiodarone with Harvoni may cause a serious slowing of your heart rate. Common side effects of Harvoni may include tiredness, headache, and weakness. I am ready to put Hep C behind me.
I am ready to be cured.
Are you ready? Ask your Hep C specialist if Harvoni is right for you.
If you're taking multiple medications, does your mouth often feel dry? A dry mouth can be a side effect of many medications, but it can also lead to tooth decay and bad breath. That's why there's Biotene. Available as an oral rinse, toothpaste, spray, or gel, Biotene can provide soothing relief, and it helps keep your mouth healthy too. Remember, while your medication is doing you good, a dry mouth isn't. Biotene, for people who suffer from a dry mouth.
Breaking wind and average fleece. Breaking wind and Duluth Trading Shoreman's fleece. Duluth Trading Shoreman's fleece. 3 gust-busting layers, 1 beefed-up fleece. Get one, only at DuluthTrading.com.
What do you think?
I can see you and me walking hand in hand through the park.
Good morning.
In the park.
Attention shoppers, there's a lost couple in the men's department.
There's a great big unkhaki world out there. Explore it in a Subaru Crosstrek. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Abdominal pain, urgent diarrhea. You never know when IBSD will show up. Now there's prescription Xifaxan. Xifaxan is a new IBSD treatment that helps relieve your diarrhea and abdominal pain symptoms.
Do not use Xifaxan if you have a history of sensitivity to rifaximin, rifamycin antibiotic agents, or any components of Xifaxan. Tell your doctor right away if your diarrhea worsens while taking Xifaxan, as this may be a sign of a serious or even fatal condition. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease or are taking other medications, because these may increase the amount of Xifaxan in your body. Tell your doctor if you are pregnant, plan on becoming pregnant, or are nursing. The most common side effects are nausea and an increase in liver enzymes.
If you think you have IBS with diarrhea, talk to your doctor about new Xifaxan.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah!
Currently in our area, 70 degrees, under mostly cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Welcome back to America's Morning Headquarters for weather. Charlotte, North Carolina is under a winter weather advisory until 7 tonight from Winter Storm Olympia.
And that's where we find meteorologist Mike Seidel. Good morning, Mike. How are things looking right now?
It's still very quiet this morning here. So far, so good for the morning commute here in the Queen City. The skyline, the ceiling, the cloud base is down to 1,800 feet from 2,000, so still fairly high. It's a very dry air mass. Humidity has come up a little bit, down up to about 52%, or dew points going from 8 up to 13 degrees. Still holding at 28 degrees, so no issues, no precip. We did have a little patch of light freezing drizzle at the airport about an hour or so ago. That's not being reported. Nothing coming down where we are. We're just east of downtown. The issues continue to be up in the North Carolina high country, up there around Boone, Sugar Mountain, all those ski resorts getting some fresh powder last night and continuing right now. Now you get east of the mountains into Greensboro and Raleigh. We've had a few reports of some freezing drizzle and light freezing rain all the way to Interstate 95 and some accidents out that way. But here we're in great shape. That's going to change. We do expect at least some light freezing rain or freezing drizzle, if not late this morning, this afternoon. There's your forecast and the timing, as temperatures slowly head towards 30 by late this afternoon. And then we expect them to go above freezing around dinner time. That will end the frozen precipitation probabilities. And then tonight we'll have some heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds. I don't know if we'll get any thunder this far east and north. We'll see. But it's all out of the way by tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's going to be a beautiful day here across the Western Carolinas. 58 here in Charlotte. And Stephanie and Chris, by the weekend, we could be pushing 70 here in the Queen City. So it's a quick hitter. Schools are closed. The city schools and Mecklenburg County schools are closed, along with a lot of other jurisdictions in the Western Carolinas, to be on the safe side. Guys?
All right, Mike, we appreciate it. And so far, so good, it looks like.
Yes, but not so far so good if you're trying to travel. I know that there were hundreds of flights canceled into Charlotte and throughout the South.
And guys, north of where Mike is right now, it's an entirely different story and a mess of a commute. If we can show you the pictures that are coming into our newsroom, just really dangerous driving situations because of the freezing rain that has been reported. This is a live look at Raleigh, North Carolina. Some of our local storm reports reporting 0.2 of an inch of ice, and this has coated the roadways, caused a number of accidents. Local media reporting that Highway Patrol has dealt with 50 accidents since 7 a.m. This is a live look at Chapel Hill, North Carolina. If we can show you a picture of the ice that's forming. This is 40 right now. Volume pretty low because it is a holiday weekend. But let's show you the pictures that are coming in, because this is what's causing the problems. This is in Orange County. This is near Chapel Hill. Look at that sheet of ice. We've got numerous accidents reported, and a stretch of 95 closed and won't reopen until noon north of Fayetteville. This is Raleigh, North Carolina. This is Highway 264. Look at the backup because of an accident. Chris, this is going to continue throughout the day. A tough morning for people out in Raleigh.
Things are going to warm up, though.
Okay.
And they are going to warm up soon. Eventually, we're going to see the snow and the ice change over to rain as conditions warm. It's going to be cold, though, in the Northeast again. Here's a look with your weekend in view. Today, snow again ending from south to the north, or rather changing over, eventually going to see rain. And then you're going to be in the 50s tomorrow in the Northeast. And we're going to watch things really warm up right here, right in the middle. Texas is going to be hot. South Texas in particular will be very warm. And you can see in the Southeast, start to see the 50s, more 60s happening here. While on Thursday, a little bit cooler, back down to 40. Chance for some showers around the Great Lakes on Friday. But now look at the South. It's going to be a gorgeous end to the weekend. Start to the weekend. A few more clouds moving into the south. Temperatures still mild in the Northeast on Saturday. Sunny and 49 in Chicago. And here is Sunday, 60s and 70s in the south. Still in the 50s freeze and Aridis in New York on Sunday.
Oh, that's going to be a welcome relief. Let's talk about your daily check. A woman grows lampshades from mushrooms. That tops our science and tech headlines in this morning's daily check. These sustainable lamps are literally grown from mushrooms. A Brooklyn-based designer recently launched a series of pendant and table lamps that are made from mushroom mycelium. It's the root structure of a mushroom. The lampshades are grown inside custom 3D printed molds and treated with natural dyes. And if you want to eat them, you can. They just wouldn't taste very good. That's pretty crazy. Eat them? I don't know about that. And check this out. OK Go releases the first ever music video shot entirely in zero gravity. It's for their song Upside Down and Out of This World. The group flew 21 flights on S7 Airlines planes with 15 zero gravity parabolas per flight. Over a 3-week period, they racked up more than 2 hours in weightlessness as practice. This is the same group who did the video for their debut song. Here it goes again, entirely on treadmills. They're just, changing the landscape. Pretty cool.
The Daily Check brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. See car insurance in a whole new light.
You owned your car for 4 years. You named it Brad. You loved Brad. And then you totaled him. You two had been through everything together. 2 boyfriends, 3 jobs. You're like, nothing can replace Brad. Then Liberty Mutual calls. And you break into your happy dance.
If you sign up for better car replacement, we'll pay for a car that's a model year newer with 15,000 fewer miles than your old one. See car insurance in a whole new light. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Pain from your day can haunt you at night. Don't let it. Advil PM gives you the healing sleep you need, helping you fall asleep and stay asleep so your body can heal as you rest. Advil PM for a healing night's sleep. When you report the weather,
Oh, yes! Yes! Yes!
there are 2 things you can never forget.
Woo!
A sense of adventure and a warm jacket.
Yes!
LL Bean, official outfitter of the Weather Channel.
Listen to that!
All year long, you worked hard to take care of business and take care of the people who matter most.
Should be ready to ship next month. Sure, we'll have it Monday. Whatever works for you.
So when your tax refund arrives, make it go a little further at Walmart. From electronics to home decor, even tires.
All right, you should be good to go.
Great. Thank you. Get low prices on everything you need to get more fun out of your tax refund. Walmart.
Building the only trucks with the best fuel economy, best towing, best torque, and best payload takes guts. Overcoming any obstacle, that's the glory. Get a great deal on the trucks that give you both during Ram Truck Month. Get 0% financing for 60 months, plus up to $2,000 truck month bonus cash on 2016 Ram 1500.
I'm a realtor for a really simple reason. I just love working with people and helping them to find the perfect property. Well, don't get me wrong, the commissions are great too. But for me, it's most rewarding when I walk into a customer's new home and they turn to me and say, Vince, you know what? We love it here more than we ever expected. That's my ultimate payment.
I'm Vince Marotta. Give me 30 minutes and I believe I can earn your business. Your journey begins at MarottaRealty.com.
Stroll through the woods and visit the working sculpture studio of famed artist Gert Olson at the annual open house in Jupiter Farms on Saturday and Sunday, February 27th and 28th from noon to 5. Gert's works have been shown all over the world, and now is your chance to see it in person. See these unique sculptures as well as the paintings, pottery, and fine jewelry by these fine artists. Olson Studio is located on 177th Place North in Jupiter Farms. We look forward to seeing you there.
Today,
A little rain, a little shine, a little change all the time. And the birds will sing, 'cause the weather will bring happiness to the hearts of the lonely. Will change our minds when the weather is fine.
Come on down to Weather Underground, weeknights at 6 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 70 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
So this is why we can't tell the weather story without you. Those were images and videos that you sent to us through the weekend from Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, even New Hampshire, of throwing a pot of boiling water in the air.
Boiling water. So we need to remind you, please be careful.
Yes. They look like they had, you know, some little mittens or
something.
Well,
the main thing is make sure you're not throwing it into the wind.
Yeah. And then it comes
back at you.
And that's not good. And we still have the cold temperatures out there this morning that maybe you could do that.
There's some other things you shouldn't do into the wind, but that's for another show. But we should maybe explain how that works, the sublimation going from a liquid right to a gas.
Obviously happens when it's really cold. And,
yeah, a lot of times you need those numbers around like single digits for that to happen.
Yeah, and releases really actually a lot of heat when that happens. This changing phase of water is a cool thing. But another day we'll talk about that because we have some other phases of water on the map right here. We have snow, freezing rain and sleet across the...
and rain as well. We have all the phases.
We have it all. But you know what? In here, some of those darker blues, snow is coming down maybe at a moderate pace, so perhaps visibility just at about a mile, accumulation rate maybe ½ inch per hour.
This is such a tricky forecast too because everything's going to be changing over with that warm front coming north.
Look at what's going on in the Triangle area. This is going to be a problem, I think, not just for another hour or two, but maybe another 4 or 6.
And it doesn't look impressive, so everyone's probably looking at this like, why all the cancellations? What's going on? Because it looks like weak sauce right now, Greg.
Weak sauce, maybe so, Steph, but weak sauce carries a big stick with maybe not much accumulation. If, you know, it says 0.0, but we know it's a little more than that.
Right.
But read this. Numerous accidents reported in and around the Raleigh area with a tiny little glaze.
It's like a really hot pepper. You just need just a dab, and then that's it, you know?
That's perfect. I love it. So let's talk about what's going on in the atmosphere to allow this to happen across parts of Carolina. Temperatures in the low 20s at the ground. But look, upstairs, a couple thousand feet, it's above freezing. So it's actually raining aloft. In fact, it's raining all the way basically to the ground, and then it freezes right on contact. So we go from the mid-30s, where it's rain, it hits the ground, and then it freezes.
I think it's hard to conceptualize. Even just a few hundred feet of cold air is enough in order to get that liquid to turn to freezing right on contact.
Exactly. And the rain doesn't have time to freeze. Maybe you'll get some ice pellets thrown in there. You'll have a little ice, maybe sleet coming down. But really, mostly, this is just rain making it all the way to the surface. And this is the worst of all winter hazards because the travel is just awful. Let's time it out. Let's get you out of this freezing rain and sleet, perhaps in parts of the Carolinas. During the late morning, it's probably not going to be till afternoon. But by evening rush, better along the I-95 corridor in the Triangle area, higher elevations, you're going to have to hang on a little while longer.
Yeah, that warm air is starting to sneak northbound. And it is, but on the backside, some heavy snow with this thing, I think.
Yeah, we haven't paid a whole lot of attention to this, but you're exactly right. Eastern Ohio, there may be a couple of inches in that band of snow on the really the last piece of cold air with that system, because as this one gets out of here, we're going to sort of stair-step our way out of this really brutally cold stuff.
All right, so let's talk about how much ice we're going to see. Listen, 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch, that's going to cause just slippery spots, but we're not going to see major power outages.
Not major power outages, but be very careful on the roads. It takes just a tiny little glaze.
As we saw, according to our observations, at 0.0, but there was obviously just a touch on there. All right, let's have a look at our national forecast now and show you Olympia's snowy side. And we are going to continue to see that snow move its way into the northeast New York. You could get in on some of this snow, but by tomorrow, we're talking about a squall line moving through New York and Boston.
Yeah, I think so, Steph. I mean, we do have a shot at some big storms with some gusty winds maybe even there as well.
Severe weather potentially here in the south today. I don't think it's going to be too potent. Then there's that big warm up. Bring it. The warm air from the mid. This is going to actually shift eastbound as we head throughout the next couple of days. Jen Delgado, what's coming up next?
Yeah, well, Allison Chinchar and myself, we're going to be talking, of course, about what's happening across parts of the Northeast, a winter storm Olympia, and we're also going to be looking at the big warm up that so many people are going to be excited about.
I know.
69 in Atlanta on Thursday and Friday.
We love that.
It's a good number.
It is a good number. Certainly after we looked at temperatures 30, 35 degrees below average. I see your face there. You're like, I can't wait for that temperature.
And the fact that it was below zero in the Northeast is going to be in the mid-50s.
That's absolutely true. Sub-freezing. All right, you guys have a good one. See you Tuesday.
All right, we'll see you guys back here tomorrow, everyone.
What truck company do you think offers best-in-class V8 fuel economy, best-in-class V8 horsepower, and best-in-class V8 towing?
Chevy. I'm going with Ram.
Definitely Ford.
The new 2016 Chevy Silverado offers best-in-class V8 fuel economy, horsepower, and towing.
They're all Chevy.
That's right, all Chevy, the fastest growing pickup brand. It's Truck Month. Now get a total value of $7,500 on this Silverado All-Star with a 5.3-liter V8. Find new roads at your local Chevy dealer.
Let's go.
Pure is big, bold, and just better. Pure is McCormick. The smallest pinch of Pure McCormick can make meals legendary. We want to help you realize the rich taste that Pure can bring, because Pure tastes better.
If you're looking to save money on your Medicare Part D prescriptions, Walgreens says Carpe Med Diem. Seize the day to get more out of life and Medicare Part D. Just switch to Walgreens for savings that'll be the highlight of your day. Now preview the cost of your copay before you fill. You can even get $1 copays on select plans. Walgreens, at the corner of happy and healthy.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
Every step you take into winter weather could bring snow and salt right into your car, ruining the floor. It's time you stepped up to WeatherTech floor liners. Laser measured to custom fit and perfectly protect your specific make and model. Front, back, even up the sides. So give winter the boot with WeatherTech. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech, proudly made in America.
Is this really the best way to pick color for a whole room? There's a new way to paint. With the new Project Color app, take any color on a virtual test drive. It's part of the new Color Center experience from the Home Depot. Everything you need to get the right color, right. In hand, online, and at the store. Guaranteed one-coat Behr Marquee, just $40.98. Download the Project Color app. The Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Carmex has been soothing lips for almost 80 years. And now our latest innovation, Carmex Cold Sore Treatment, blocks pain and itch on contact while it smooths and fills for a less visible sore. Try Carmex Cold Sore Treatment, voted Product of the Year. And for dry, chapped lips, try Carmex Lip Balms.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel. Yeah!
Currently in our area, 70 degrees, under mostly cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Right now, Weather Center Live, Winter Storm Olympia spreading a dangerous combination of snow, ice, and rain. From Georgia to Maine, the storm already creating hazardous travel conditions. We could see as much as 18 inches of snow. We are timing it all out. This is Weather Center Live. We are in the lab. Good morning to you. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Delgado.
And I'm meteorologist Allison Chinchar. It is Monday, February 15th. And after some of the coldest air of the season, relief finally on the way, Jen.
Yeah, that's right. We're talking about that big warm up. We're going to see temperatures starting to soar across parts of the west. And eventually, Allison, we're going to share that with the east. We're going to see temperatures 30 degrees above average after we were 30 below, right?
That's right. Find out how long you can expect the warmth to stick around next on Weather Center Live. And Winter Storm Olympia bringing a mix of snow, freezing rain, and ice. It's stretching from the south into the northeast. More than 80 million people under some type of winter weather alert, including these two locations here. You can see State College, Pennsylvania, and we also have Blacksburg, Virginia. Well, at least from the shots, Blacksburg certainly looks like the worst of the two locations. Visibility is very poor. We obviously have the snow down. State College visibility not so much as bad, but you can definitely see some of the big, thick flakes coming down along there. But in all relativity, Jen, the temperatures are relatively the same at about the mid-teens.
Yeah, that's right. And we're seeing those temperatures so cold for this time of the year. Now, we want to start off right now updating you on some of our advisories that we have out for Winter Storm Olympia. You can see winter storm warning, including those areas like Tennessee as well as into parts of Virginia. And then we look at the purple. That is your freezing rain advisory. Certainly the worst thing you want to deal with as we look for areas including Atlanta all the way over towards parts of North Carolina. So that is the look at the advisories as well as some of the warnings. Now we look at the radar. And you can see where all the snow is, as indicated by the blue, spreading through parts of Virginia as well as in the southern part of Virginia. And if you look in the southern part of Virginia, you're seeing where some of the heavier snowfall is. Now we look over towards areas including parts of Tennessee and we add in the temperatures. That's where we actually have some rain. But if you notice in the eastern portion of Tennessee, that's where we have the freezing rain. And that's where we're going to continue to see a lot of problems with the icy conditions. The temperatures all around are generally in the lower 20s, a very cold start to the morning. And we zoom in a bit more. Look at areas like 81 as well as into 40. These are the areas that are going to be the toughest travel. But we look across parts of Virginia like Bristol as well as spreading into Roanoke. Heavier snowfall. Some of these locations picking up anywhere between 5 to 8 inches. We look at Richmond. You're on the line as well as Washington, D.C. We'll continue to see that snow working through. Now we look across parts of Virginia and we do know, of course, this is where we're going to see some of the heavier snowfall amounts. This is where we have our own Mark Elliott. He is live right now reporting in Roanoke, Virginia. Good morning to you, Mark. It looks like a winter wonderland behind you.
It absolutely is. Good morning to you as well. We've got some plows and some trucks coming through, so if it gets a little bit noisy, that's why. They're trying to keep up with this snow, and we're actually going to be able to show you what's happening out on the roads behind me. We've got 220 and I-581, and the plow crews have been out here all morning long since even before sunrise. Snow actually started about 6 p.m. last night, and it's been snowing ever since, and now transitioned over to these kind of silver dollar snowflakes. Big-time snow as we've seen the moisture and the temperatures aloft from us really increasing. In fact, the snow is so heavy. Let me show you over here. What we should be seeing out in this direction is the Appalachian chain, right? Visibility has come up just a little bit in the past 30 minutes or so. And so now we're seeing kind of the foothills at the base of the mountains. Past that, even higher peaks, and that's a big part of the story today, right? We're looking at that cold air that's at the surface to be absolutely locked in. It's not going to be able to be scoured out, even as we warm up aloft in the atmosphere. So even here, we will eventually change over to sleet and then eventually freezing rain, and that's really where the travel trouble comes in. For Roanoke, as we look at the hourlies, we're looking at later on this afternoon into this evening, still sleet and freezing rain. So even though the plows have been coming through and we're mostly cleared off the roads, it's impossible for these plows to get all the way down to the blacktop surface, right? We're looking at snow on top of that because they can't just scour it all away. They are throwing some salt and some sand for traction, especially on the on-ramps and the overpasses, but add some sleet and freezing rain on top of this thin layer of snow, and until we change over to just regular old rain, it is really going to go from a bad travel day to just a horrendous travel day. So that's something that we're watching carefully here in the Roanoke area. Big time snows right now. We've already gotten 6 inches of snow, and it's still snowing at a pretty good clip. And then later on, sleet, then freezing rain, and then late tonight, we should be able to give the all clear to the Roanoke area. Allison, back to you.
And thank you so much, Mark. We really appreciate it, and we hope you stay warm. So let's take a look at more of the timing of this particular system and what we really ultimately expect when it's all said and done. Here are a look at the totals. You can see mostly widespread. We're talking around 1 to 3 inches of snow. Some areas we will have several pockets about 3 to 5, but the real top end would be about 5 to 8, and most of that's going to be in some of the higher elevations of the Appalachian Mountains. Ice also going to be probably more likely the more worrisome out of what we're going to get from this system. You can see some areas could get as high as 1/4 of an inch, but more of the widespread will be about 1/10 of an inch. But keep in mind, 1/10 of an inch is still plenty to provide a nice glaze over sidewalks, streets, things like that that could end up causing a lot of problems. Here's a look at the RPM data. We'll put this forward. You can see around 10 a.m. not doing too much. Once we get to around lunchtime, that's when the impacts start to begin really for places like Charlotte and also up around Roanoke. We start to see that conversion. That's where you're starting to see the freezing rain and the sleet. Then we start to see some of the heavier rain moving into parts of Knoxville. Once we get overnight, that's when it transitions from the frozen precipitation back into just rain for Roanoke and Charlotte. That's actually going to be a good thing because hopefully whatever snow or freezing rain or sleet would have fallen, that rain can help melt some of it away. And then once we get into Tuesday morning, really the commutes look a little bit better for folks in Roanoke, Charlotte, even into Raleigh. But we do get the next round, some of that wraparound moisture coming back in once we get into Tuesday afternoon. Raleigh overall, the peak time of where we expect the frozen precipitation will be likely starting around 11 o'clock in the morning before it finally changes over into pure rain, Jen, by around 4 o'clock.
You know, it's neat that they're going to get their high temperatures as they go later in the day, especially coming this time of the season. While we continue to break down the impacts of Winter Storm Olympia, coming up, we're going to show you where the greatest threats for ice and snow is actually going to be located and its effect on travel. And here is a live look at Atlantic City, New Jersey. Yes, snow.
Every auto insurance policy has a number. But not every insurance company understands the life behind it. Those who have served our nation have earned the very best service in return. USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
When heartburn hits, fight back fast. Tums Smoothie starts dissolving the instant it touches your tongue and neutralizes stomach acid at the source. Smoothies, only from Tums.
Where can you satisfy your craving for a delicious 100% Alaskan cod meal? Right here at Long John Silver's. Enjoy our tasty 2-piece hand-battered Alaskan cod basket, hand-dipped in our classic batter, now for just $5.99. Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
Okay, careful, careful, careful.
Oh. All this stuff.
Such a waste. Gorilla Glue.
Of course.
Gorilla Glue bonds wood, stone, metal, ceramic, and more. Gorilla Glue, for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
With a full tank of freedom, find your own highway. We'll take you wherever you go. Take you wherever you go.
Over 40, feeling tired, losing muscle, and even romantic drive? Man up with Ageless Male. Natural ingredients clinically shown to support energy, promote muscle, and boost free testosterone.
The great thing about Ageless Male is that it works.
Man up with Ageless Male.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 70 degrees under mostly cloudy skies with windy conditions. Today, afternoon thunderstorms developing, windy, high 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variably cloudy with scattered thunderstorms, low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, morning thunderstorms, high 82. Chance of rain 40%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Tough, a tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah! In a world that's trying to turn you into someone new, one hair color wants to help you keep on being you. Nice and easy. Natural looking color that even in sunlight doesn't look like hair color. It just looks like you. Nice and easy. Color as real as you are.
From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
I recommend Nature Made fish oil because I trust their quality. They were the first to have a product verified by USP, an independent organization that sets strict quality and purity standards.
Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist recommended fish oil brand.
That was unexpected, but you always know exactly what to expect when you have Amica Auto Insurance.
Personal attention and great service every time you call.
Call for a free quote now. You can save up to 15% when you combine auto and home insurance with Amica. Remember, the unexpected can always happen. So call Amica and expect great service every time.
And welcome back. We have a view coming out of Pembroke, Virginia. Yes, this is actually a waterfall that's now more like an ice fall. Yes, there's still water going, but this shows you what happens when you have temperatures dropping but well below freezing. We're talking in the single digits. This area also picked up 2 inches of snow, but it's the waterfall that's the big story here.
That's right. And a winter storm warning is in effect until tomorrow afternoon for obvious reasons. You can see the frozen precip there. And apparently, this is quite the thing. One of the producers from the morning show was saying that this, for folks that are students at Virginia Tech, this is quite a popular spot to go to.
Yeah.
I can't imagine maybe this time of year, although it does look pretty.
But you know what? When it's that cold, you absolutely have to go out. And the funny thing is, by tomorrow, they're going to see a high of 42 degrees. So you're going to go through that extreme. As we look right now, we have a couple live views. One coming out of Buffalo, 19 degrees, and Baltimore, 25 degrees. Yes, it is cold out. You can see the temperatures. It feels like minus 10 in New York. Now, as we go throughout the afternoon, our high temperatures are going to climb to 35 degrees for New York. Boston, 28 degrees. A lot better than over the weekend, Allison, but still so crazy cold for this time of the year.
Absolutely, but it won't stay that way for very long. We're talking the impacts from Olympia, snow and ice. The good news is it's going to be a quick storm that comes on through. Here's a look at the overall snowfall totals that we expect for the Northeast. Again, the farther east in the Northeast you are, the smaller your totals are going to be. We're talking 1 to 3 inches, especially in most of Massachusetts, also parts of New Jersey. We will have some heavier pockets of 3 to 5. Again, the heaviest bands will actually be along the Great Lakes, not necessarily from lake effect snow. It's just their position relative to where the low pressure system is actually going to be. But some areas, again, 8 to 12, if not even possibly all the way up towards 18 inches of snow when this is done. But ice, again, this is definitely the biggest threat that we expect to have, because snow, once it gets slushy, you do have some traction that you can kind of get through it. You don't on ice. Here's a look. Most of this area that you can see in that purple color, expect just less than 1/10 of an inch. That can still cause some travel problems, but the biggest travel problems will be in places like Roanoke, western Charlotte, up around places like Boone and Blowing Rock. You could see as much as 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation on the roads and sidewalks. Here's a look at the radar. Again, you can see some light snow coming down around Central Park in New York. We've also got some around Washington, D.C. and the southern end of Baltimore. And then again, up around Buffalo, starting to see some light snow showers as well. Here's a closer look. Again, you can see Dunkirk, most of it coming up from the south and moving towards the north. So again, we do have some impacts. You could see some of the heavier snow showered bands begin to put into Buffalo, say in about the next half hour or so. Jen?
That's right. We'll continue to follow that as well. But we also want to talk about how things are going to eventually warm up, and we're going to see the rain taking over. And that includes areas right now that are already dealing with the snow as well as the freezing rain. So let's start off right now looking at the forecast for Washington, D.C. D.C., we already know you're going to see icy conditions as we go home right around 4 o'clock as well as until 7 o'clock. But then if you notice, you pay attention here, we're going to go above freezing, and we're going to continue to see those temperatures climbing as we go throughout the evening hours. Yes, that's right. So the good news is when you're waking up tomorrow morning, heading out the door, icing isn't going to be a threat. So this is 6 o'clock tonight. Still going to be looking at some areas of some wintry precipitation in the form of the pink as well as the snow across parts of Pennsylvania, including 80 as well as into 81. But then that warm air comes through, that warm front, and that is going to change that over to rain. So you rather see the green, especially when you're driving early in the morning. Now, we time this out through tomorrow. Now, notice things start to get a little bit punchier as we go into tomorrow morning. This is at 10 a.m. and then eventually making its way into those cities, including parts of New York as well as Boston, as we go through the afternoon and evening hours. And of course, we could be looking at some stronger winds as well as that line comes through, Allison. And it looks like that's going to happen as we especially go tomorrow. Over to you.
That's right. Well, we've been talking all about snow and ice, but the southeastern United States is facing a different dangerous threat from Olympia. Coming up, we're talking about a significant risk of severe weather today, including, yes, tornadoes. The latest on that coming up.
From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
What makes Thermacare different? 2 words. It heals. How? With heat. Unlike creams and rubs that mask the pain, Thermacare has patented heat cells that penetrate deep to increase circulation and accelerate healing. Let's review. Heat plus relief plus healing equals Thermacare. The proof that it heals is you.
Here's something new. Now you can get the Weather Channel forecasts on the new LL Bean app. Just tap, shop, and discover. The new app from LL Bean, featuring forecasts from the Weather Channel. Download today.
When it's your job to protect the world's greatest nation, it's your responsibility to solve the world's greatest challenges. This is why we search for the best and brightest, why we train for every eventuality, on land and water, in the air, space, and even cyberspace. We operate in a complex world with one simple mission: win.
Pure is big, bold, and just better. Pure is McCormick. The smallest pinch of Pure McCormick can make meals legendary. We want to help you realize the rich taste that Pure can bring, because Pure tastes better.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
For a limited time at Tire Kingdom, buy 2 tires, get 2 free with purchase of value installation on all 4 tires. Choose from top tire brands like Goodyear, Continental, Cooper, Nitto, and more. Plus, no interest on purchases of $600 or more if paid in full within 12 months. Buy 2 tires, get 2 free. Now at Tire Kingdom Service Centers. That's all you need.
For a cold sore, I don't use some waxy cover-up. I use Herpes-L. It penetrates deep to treat. It soothes, moisturizes, and creates an SPF 30 barrier to protect against flare-ups caused by the sun. Herpes-L. It does more for a cold sore.
Protect your smile with an invisible shield against plaque. Act Advanced with Plaque Guard helps prevent plaque and gingivitis, kills 99% of bacteria for a 12-hour shield of protection. Your mouth is fresh and clean. Act Advanced. Advanced Plaque Protection.
When the going gets tough, a tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah! Stay tuned for your local on the 8s powered by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram.
Building the only trucks with the best fuel economy, best towing, best torque, and best payload takes guts. Overcoming any obstacle. That's the glory. Get a great deal on the trucks that give you both during Ram Truck Month. Get 0% financing for 60 months, plus up to $2,000 truck month bonus cash on 2016 Ram 1500 trucks.
Today, windy with scattered thunderstorms. High 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. Low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High 82. Here's our 7-day outlook.
A look at a quick southeast forecast for you. We take a look live. You can see Charlotte, North Carolina at the top, New Orleans down at the bottom. Now, Charlotte, it's not necessarily doing much as of right now, but it will be shortly. And a lot of kids off school today, more likely from the holiday than it was necessarily from the winter weather. But that actually probably gave officials there a little bit of a break. They didn't have to necessarily worry
about burning more days.
Exactly.
And we see that strong southerly flow that's in place. You can see those areas are going to be looking at some thunderstorms right around the coast. We'll, of course, talk more about that in just a moment.
And Charlotte, North Carolina, that we just talked about, is under a winter advisory until 7 p.m. tonight, because more of their impacts really start around lunchtime and then transition as we go into the evening. And more on that, we've got Mike Seidel down there.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to turn it over to Mike Seidel. And it looks like, Mike, the worst is yet to come. It looks like arriving as we go later on this morning and afternoon.
Yes, right now we're fine. The rush hour is fine. Schools are closed here in the city of Charlotte and also Mecklenburg County. To be on the safe side, they closed them this morning, the city schools, because they're concerned about some icy roads later on this afternoon for the trip home on the buses. We're out here on the Central Avenue Bridge and no problems. Everybody's moving at the speed limit. Look in the distance here. They have pre-treated the roadways. There's the ramp going to 277 in front of the skyline. You can see the white substance on the side of the road. Certainly a de-icing. I don't know if it's calcium chloride along with some salt. They also brined I-85. We noticed that on the way up from Atlanta yesterday afternoon. We noticed that last night. You could see that on the road as we headed towards Gastonia and into Charlotte. It's 28 degrees right now. The dew point continues to come up. It's up to 15. We're not going to see a lot of evaporation or cooling. In fact, I think it's going to hold at 28 as that dew point comes up. Ceiling's up at 1,800 feet. We have had a little bit of freezing drizzle around Greensboro and Raleigh and out towards Rocky Mount. But here so far, it's been dry, nothing accumulating on the ice and these elevated surfaces, which are the key because they're surrounded by cold air. They always ice up first. You probably noticed the roads on the signs on the side of the road. So our forecast as we go through this morning and this afternoon, increasing chance of some light freezing rain or freezing drizzle. You know, it doesn't take much on an untreated surface. So again, watch anything like your sidewalks out front because it's been cold all night long. We're not talking about warm temperatures coming into this. So it will ice up very quickly if it's not treated. Then around dinner time, we go up above freezing. Tonight, it's going to be all rain. And then we get out of that. By tomorrow morning, we're going to have a nice day tomorrow here in the Queen City. And through the Western Carolinas, temperatures here in the Piedmont areas will be certainly above 50. We're forecasting 58, Jen, here in Charlotte tomorrow afternoon. So we can get through about noon to 6. We're going to be fine.
Yeah. All right, Mike Seidel reporting live in Charlotte, North Carolina. We just have to look ahead to the warmer temperatures that are eventually going to be taking over. But we also are looking at the rain as well as severe weather threat setting up across parts of the south. You see actually actually a couple lines there, looking at the green as well as yellow across parts of Louisiana. We have actually a severe thunderstorm warning that has been issued, and it's in the area you can see, including the parishes of East Carroll as well as Madison and Richland. Now, the storm actually moving to the northeast at about 55 miles per hour. Here are reports of actually 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. And again, there is our storm that we're watching that is moving over toward parts of the northeast. This goes until 9 a.m. local time. So we go up to the north, and then all that's happening up here, flood problems. In some of these locations, what you're seeing in green, we've actually had 2 to 4 inches of rainfall in just a 6-hour period. So yes, flash flooding is going to be a problem there. These flash flood warnings go until 9 a.m. Central Time. We're going to continue to see the threat for more heavy rainfall because that low is still just to the southwest, and once it progresses, it will kind of shut off that rainfall there. But all across parts of the south, including the Gulf Coast, Louisiana, over towards parts of Florida, we do have a severe weather threat, torcons, and these locations include 3, so that means you have about a 30% chance of tornado. We're going to talk more about Winter Storm Olympia right after the break.
When you're living with diabetes, steady is exciting. Only Glucerna has Carb Steady, clinically proven to help minimize blood sugar spikes, so you stay steady ahead.
Where can you satisfy your craving for a delicious 100% Alaskan cod meal? Right here at Long John Silver's. Enjoy our tasty 2-piece hand-battered Alaskan cod basket, hand-dipped in our classic batter, now for just $5.99. Because at Long John Silver's, you deserve more.
My clear solution for pain, Salonpas Jet Spray, powered by 2 medicines. Salonpas sprays on clear, dries fast, and provides up to 8 full hours of relief.
Salonpas, powerful relief when and where you need it.
It takes a lot of work to run this business. I'm on the move all day long. And sometimes, I just don't eat the way I should. So I drink Boost to get the nutrition that I'm missing.
Boost Complete Nutritional Drink has 26 essential vitamins and minerals, including calcium and vitamin D to support strong bones, and 10 grams of protein to help maintain muscle, all with a great taste.
I don't plan on slowing down anytime soon.
Stay strong, stay active with Boost. Now try new Boost Compact and 100 calories.
The all-new Lexus RX and RX Hybrid. Agile handling, available 12.3-inch navigation screen, and panorama glass roof. Never has luxury been this expressive. This is the pursuit of perfection.
Michaela was really behind. Her teacher says she was below average. Being a military family, we've moved a lot. And I guess that kind of affected the way she was learning. It made me sad, because it's like, well, I know she's smart. I was like, okay, the school year is about to end. I gotta do something. I'm trying my best to find ways to help her out, but it was tough until I found abcmouse.com, and I was like, oh, lifesaver. After abcmouse.com, she's improved so much. ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher, and she loves it. She's having fun and learning at the same time. Her improvement was huge. Her teacher said, wow, I don't know what you've been doing, but it's working really, really well. I'm like, thanks. I was like, that's abcmouse.com.
Never underestimate the power of Energizer. Our longest lasting Energizer Max ever.
Here in the city, parking is hard to find. Seems like everyone drives. And those who do should switch to Geico because you could save hundreds on car insurance. Oh, perfect. Valet parking. Hello.
Evening, sir.
Here's the keys. And go easy on the right, mate. Wouldn't mind some of that beef Wellington.
To see how much you could save on car insurance, go to geico.com.
It's okay.
We know you have a morning routine. We have one too. 7 days a week, AMHQ is right here and weather ready with Jim Cantori, Stephanie Abrams, Jen Carfagno, and the rest of AMHQ.
Let's get right to what you want, and that is the weather.
AMHQ, every morning starting at 5 on the Weather Channel.
Today, windy with scattered thunderstorms. High 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. Low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High 82. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Closed captioning brought to you by Beltone, your premier hearing care partner.
Beltone is conducting a new trial on innovative hearing technology. You will be asked to evaluate a remarkable product that's virtually invisible. Call 1-800-BELTONE.
Welcome back. It's about 30 past the hour. Well, this is not what you want to see when you are skiing. That is an avalanche that you can see there. This is actually from France, just southeast of Lyon, right near the Italian border. At one of their ski resorts there, they caught it all on camera right here, Jen. Again, absolutely probably not what you want to see. All of a sudden, that white wall of snow coming down, barreling down towards the skiers. They were able to drop down into the snow and let it pass over them. Sometimes you can create those air pockets when you do that so that you don't necessarily suffocate.
That's, and that's why the skiers now, a lot of them are equipped with the little roaming detectors to help them. So, getting there so quickly is essential for survival. This is actually right along the Alps, and it's just amazing how quickly these can actually take over.
That's right. Well, thank you so much for staying with us with Weather Center Live. I'm Allison Chinchard.
And I'm Jennifer Delgado. And we also have another meteorologist in the house. That's Jessica Arnoldy. And we have so much to talk about, coming from the cold temperatures to the snow, the ice, and the severe weather threat for today.
It's kind of a weather whiplash, even though that's kind of an overused term, right? But we had such extreme cold this weekend, and a lot of those same places that saw that cold are going to see a ton of rain now. So it's just kind of crazy weather we have going on.
Yeah, it's incredible. And we're also going to be timing out exactly where the rain and ice is going to be, but we also want to break out our virtual window. I mean, we're stuck in the lab right now, and I say stuck because we can't see outdoors, but at Knoxville, here's a view.
And that's right. And due to the weather, UT's campus will not be opening until 10 a.m. today. I am sure a lot of students are rejoicing with that news. Very excited. And then a little further north, up towards D.C., we are being told now that they have now expanded the winter storm warning to now include D.C. Not that you didn't think you weren't going to get anything, but now we've actually included you into that lump along with so many other cities as well.
And it looks like they've gotten anywhere between about an inch of snowfall. Certainly areas down toward the Southwest have picked up more snowfall. We do know that Bain, Virginia actually picked up 9 inches of snow. Of course, this is all coming from Winter Storm Olympia. Now, we look and show you another view. This is actually out of Charlottesville. And Charlottesville right now, beautiful view here, 14 degrees. That's what it feels like. Spent a lot of time there. And this is actually at the University of Virginia. A lot of pride in Virginia, in Charlottesville.
And that's right. Well, Winter Storm Olympia is creating treacherous driving conditions in parts of North Carolina. Ice will be covering the roads, and that will likely end up causing slick conditions.
And Steve Abbott with the North Carolina Department of Transportation, he is joining us on the phone right now. Steve, I know you're in Raleigh, North Carolina. Tell us, where are the most areas that you're seeing for the problems as well as even the accidents?
Well, it's right in the Raleigh area because just as rush hour struck is when the frozen precipitation really came down. So morning commute was pretty messy still.
Okay. And Steve, we know, North Carolina is a southern state. You're not one of the states we often think of as being well equipped to handle a lot of winter storms. So what resources do you have to help combat the weather?
Well, we use brine when something's going to come in as snow or something frozen. Just in this area, we used about 111,000 gallons of brine down on the main roads over the weekend to help keep it from freezing to the roadway. And then we bring in our trucks, and we use contractor trucks. But you're right, we don't have the hundreds and hundreds of vehicles to use in each area.
And, I have a question for you as well. This is coming up. You just actually had some icing problems just a couple of weeks ago. Is this a pretty active period for you guys?
This has been very active. I think we got lulled into being hey, this is going to be a mild winter for us because we didn't really have anything outside the mountains until just a few weeks ago.
All right, Steve Abbott with the North Carolina Department of Transportation updating us on the road conditions all across the state. And you just heard him say that Raleigh, we've had some problems, especially this morning, but we're looking at more snow still to come, Allison.
That's right, and especially for other cities like Charlotte, also around Asheville, we've got to keep an eye on some of those. So let's take another look at Winter Storm Olympia. Here's what we're looking at in terms of the overall totals that we expect to pick up in terms of snow. You can see most of it is that light shade of blue, which indicates 1 to 3 inches. We will have some areas that pick up 3 to 5, and then a few heavier pockets right around 5 to 8 inches. Most of that will be a little farther north, and then also in areas of the Appalachian Mountains where you get some of those higher elevations. Also, when you slide up to the northeast, the eastern portions of the northeast will end up getting lower totals. We're talking 1 to 3 inches, especially for places like Boston and New York. Then you start to go a little farther west, places like Albany, down towards Philadelphia, maybe about 3 to 5. But then once you get closer to the Great Lakes, that's where some of the highest totals are going to be, but not necessarily because of lake effect snow. It's just because of their position in relation to the low pressure system. So for that reason, we're expecting some areas about 8 to 12 inches, could be as much as 12 to 18. Here's a look at the current conditions. Raining right now in Knoxville, but they're right at that freezing mark. Charlotte, you're well below freezing, but no precipitation just yet, but you can see clearly it is on the way. Roanoke, we're dealing with snow showers. Same thing in Richmond. Your temperatures well below freezing. Same thing in D.C. Right now, Jen, about 23 with those snow showers, but that will change over into rain once we get to tonight.
Yeah, we just have to wait for those temperatures to warm up. And so many people are waiting for temperatures to warm up after some of the coldest temperatures in decades. And extreme swing in temps is ahead for parts of the Northeast. We want to bring in our own WSI senior meteorologist, Dan Leonard. We're going to go inside weather. And Dan, we've got to talk more about some of these crushing temperatures that we saw over the week. Just record breaking.
It was amazing up here, Jen. -9 in Boston, -16 in Worcester. These are two of the coldest temps we've had up here in Massachusetts since 1957. That's pretty remarkable if you think about it. Got to go back over 50 years to see temps this cold. And I know folks out in Minneapolis and Chicago might scoff at that type of cold, but it was really cold. And you factored in the winds, and we were talking -30, -40 degrees on the wind chill. But what's most remarkable about this whole thing is Olympia brings up all the warmth. We go from -10 to -15 degrees yesterday. Now we're talking 55 to 60 degrees potentially tomorrow. Just amazing turnaround here in the Northeast.
And Dan, so today we're actually talking about possibly some record highs in the Southwest, but then that begins to transition a little farther east. How far east do you think we could end up having record highs this week?
Yeah, so once we get Olympia out of here, now granted it is warm tomorrow, it's warm up and down the East Coast tomorrow as Olympia moves and takes that more inland route. That's pretty amazing if you think about it as well. You have snow and ice in the southeast this morning, and you're going to have rain in Montreal and Caribou tomorrow. That's just pretty remarkable if you think about it. But once we get this Olympia to shift out, we'll shift some of that warmth into the east, and finally we get some relief in California from all that warm weather that they've had in the southwest. Get a storm system to swing through there, and they finally get some rain and snow. It's been quite a while since they've had a good storm move into California. So finally we'll get some relief there later this week, and that will allow the warmth to shift eastward. I think it moves into the Midwest first later this week, and then the East Coast by this weekend. So we're talking highs 15 to 25 degrees above normal on average. So quite the swing. This winter's been anything but boring across the country as we have these just amazing swings in temperature.
Yeah, and we do know, of course, as you just said, we're going to see those temperatures warming back up, but we still are looking even ahead through next weekend. We can still see those temperatures going right back down again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the long-range map suggests that we might actually get into a colder pattern again during the last week of February. We'll get big ridging to build out in northwestern Canada, and that means we could turn cold and stormy again. If I have a target date for another potential East Coast storm, looks like about the 24th or so, about 10 days from now, there is the potential there for a cold, stormy end to February.
Okay, you said the 24th, right? Is that what he said?
Lock
All right, the 20th. Because you remember last time he said the 10th, and you were only off by 1 day, so your odds are pretty good.
Close.
Pretty close.
I'm going to try to get it right on the button this time.
All right, we'll take it either way. All right, Dan Leonard with WSI.
Thank you so much, Dan. Well, the question is there finally going to be relief from the record warmth ahead for the West? Dan kind of gave us a preview of that. But coming up, we'll detail the timeline of the week's potential rain and how far south will it provide some relief, perhaps, to Southern California, where they desperately need to see it.
Yeah, they certainly do. Right now, we do know this is a live view of San Francisco. And as we look across parts of the U.S., we continue to track Winter Storm Olympia.
Today, windy with scattered thunderstorms. High 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. Low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High 82. Here's our 7-day outlook.
Remember when you said men are superior drivers?
Yeah.
Yeah. Then how'd I get this?
Allstate Safe Driving Bonus Check. Who's that?
So weird, right? My agent Tom said.
Only Allstate sends you a bonus check for every 6 months you're accident-free.
But I'm a woman. Maybe it's a misprint. Does it look like a misprint?
Okay, let's try. Silence. Ask an Allstate agent about the Safe Driving Bonus Check. Are you in good hands?
If you could see your cough,
It's just a cough.
you'd see how often you cough all day, and so would everyone else. New Robitussin 12-Hour delivers fast, powerful cough relief that lasts up to 12 hours. New Robitussin 12-Hour cough relief, because it's never just a cough.
Many sleep aids have pain medicine, but ZzzQuil is different. Because why would you take a pain medicine when all you want is good sleep? ZzzQuil, a non-habit-forming sleep aid that's not for pain, just for sleep.
New Tidy Cats Lightweight 4-in-1 fights mess right. Attacks 3 strong litter box odors. Plus, locks clumps tight. And now, it's light. Every home, every cat. There's a Tidy Cats for that.
What do you think?
I can see you and me walking hand in hand through the park.
Good morning.
In the park.
Attention shoppers, there's a lost couple in the men's department.
There's a great big unkhaki world out there. Explore it in a Subaru Crosstrek. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
Across America, people are taking charge of their type 2 diabetes with non-insulin Victoza.
For a while, I took a pill to lower my blood sugar, but it didn't get me to my goal. So I asked my doctor about Victoza. He said Victoza works differently than pills and comes in a pen. Victoza is proven to lower blood sugar and A1C. It's taken once a day, anytime. Victoza is not for weight loss, but it may help you lose some weight.
Victoza is an injectable prescription medicine that may improve blood sugar in adults with type 2 diabetes when used with diet and exercise. It is not recommended as the first medication to treat diabetes and should not be used in people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Victoza has not been studied with mealtime insulin. Victoza is not insulin. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Symptoms of a serious allergic reaction may include itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. Tell your doctor if you get a lump or swelling in your neck. Serious side effects may happen in people who take Victoza, including inflammation of the pancreas, pancreatitis. Stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have signs of pancreatitis, such as severe pain that will not go away in your abdomen or from your abdomen to your back, with or without vomiting. Tell your doctor about all the medicines you take and if you have any medical conditions. Taking Victoza with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. The most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
If your pill isn't giving you the control you need, ask your doctor about non-insulin Victoza. It's covered by most health plans.
Discover Card. Hey, I heard you guys can help me with fraud protection.
Sure, we help with fraud protection.
If there are unauthorized purchases on your Discover Card,
You're never held responsible.
you are saying frog protection.
Fraud.
Frog.
Fraud.
I think we're on the same page.
At Discover, we treat you like you'd treat you. Fraud protection. Get it at discover.com.
welcome back. We continue our coverage of Winter Storm Olympia, and we look right now actually at what we're covering. We actually have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect as well as flash flood warnings. Now, we get right to the severe thunderstorm warning. We've been following this for about the last 20 minutes. This goes until 9 a.m. for the parishes of East Carroll as well as into Madison, moving pretty quickly to the northeast, about 55 miles per hour. Hearing reports of some nickel-sized hail and some of those wind gusts up to about 60. That's right to the north of Interstate 20. So heads up for you if you're in Yazoo City. Some of those stronger storms will be working through. Now we look across parts of the north, like northern parts of Mississippi, as well as even into Alabama. Look what's happening there. Flash flood warnings are in effect until 9 a.m. Some of these locations have been picking up anywhere between 2 to 4 inches of rainfall in the last 6 hours. Here's a live view of Interstate 55. This is looking into Memphis, or it's actually just to the south of Memphis, but this is actually in Mississippi. And you can see the roadways are wet there, but certainly ponding on the roadway is going to be a problem with that flash flood warning. Again, potentially dropping another 1 to 2 inches of rainfall. We'll take it back over to the graphics. And what we have is actually the low is just to the southwest. So essentially, we're going to continue to see that setting up right along this whole area before we get that low to move over towards the east. A lot of moisture out there to work with. So flash flooding will continue to be a big threat. But also for today, we're going to look at some of these storms potentially become stronger throughout the afternoon. Notice for New Orleans, Mobile, and Panama City, you are actually under our thunderstorm forecast for today, but some of these include tornadoes right around 3, and that includes you across southern parts of Louisiana and then spreading into Florida, yes, right around the Panhandle area and including parts of southern Alabama. So when you're talking about a tornado of 3, that means you have about a 30% chance of seeing some of these storms kick out some potentially a tornado. And also right along what we were showing where they had the flash flood warnings, we're also looking at a good amount of lightning as well. So let's talk about the setup. We got the dip in the jet stream. At the same time, we have those winds turning with high. You can see that warm air coming in from the surface, low-level jet. You can see changing the winds. This is what's going to happen today as we see that low making its way to the east. And then 3 to 5 inches across parts of central Tennessee. And that includes areas, even the southern parts of the area of Kentucky, right along the line there. That's where we're going to see the greatest amount. But elsewhere, generally looking about 1 inch. But as we go later on throughout the evening hours into tomorrow, we're going to see a squall line trying to develop, and that's going to kick off some storms even for areas including Georgia and eventually making its way up towards the northeast. For New Orleans, isolated thunderstorms around for you today. Temperatures in the 70s, a lot better temperature-wise than what we saw last week, Allison, when we actually had those temperatures that were below average for this time of the year.
That's right, and we go from wet, icy, snowy, kind of gross-looking scenes to how about this? A picture-perfect scene. This is a time-lapse video. This was taken in Golden, Colorado from the North Table Mountain. Now you're looking south along there. You can just see beautiful clouds as they kind of streak across the sky. You've got blue sky, you've got some yellows, you've got some beautiful colors kind of mixed in with that. Absolutely gorgeous, Jen. But let's take a look at the Northwest regional forecast right now. And once we get to it, we'll kind of show you what we're dealing with. You can see a live look at Seattle. Again, sun not up just yet. We've got Oregon just farther south. Again, we do expect this next system to bring in some rain showers to parts of the Pacific Northwest. Missoula, you're going to be dealing with rain today. Temperatures around 37 as we kind of start off the day. Here you can see as we go through the afternoon, temperatures do warm up, and we're talking several areas well above normal still. Redding, you're going to be 21 degrees above average. Seattle, just about 4 or 5. Portland, Oregon, you'll be about 8 to 10 degrees above normal. But these warmer than normal temperatures are going to change as we go into the week, Jen.
That's right. You know, and also in these areas too, we're looking at high wind warnings. So certainly this is going to be a danger, maybe high-profile vehicles with those winds at 70 miles per hour.
That's right. Well, coming up, the latest on Winter Storm Olympia. We'll talk about how much more snow will fall in addition to what we already have, where travel will likely stay dangerous, not only for today, but into tonight, and then as we also transition into Tuesday.
Your brain is an amazing thing, but as you get older, it naturally begins to change, causing a lack of sharpness or even trouble with recall. Thankfully, the breakthrough in Prevagen helps your brain and actually improves memory. The secret is an ingredient originally discovered in jellyfish. In clinical trials, Prevagen has been shown to improve short-term memory. Prevagen, the name to remember.
When your cold makes you wish you could stay in bed all day, you need the power of new TheraFlu Express Max. New TheraFlu Express Max, the power to feel better.
Blizzard of 1978, the one moment that made me a weather geek. When I was a kid, I just was fascinated at the weather. I was fascinated how, I go to bed one night and I look outside and everything is dry. Wake up the next morning, poof, talking close to 2 feet of snow. Wow. Like, how did that happen? And I was just at awe at what was happening with the atmosphere, and I was hooked ever since.
Today, windy with scattered thunderstorms. High 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. Low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High 82. Here's our 7-day outlook.
From the moment they wake up, doers don't stop. Every day is a chance to do something great. And for the ones they love, they do anything. Sears Optical has glasses made for doing. Right now, buy one pair and get another free. Quality eyewear for doers. Sears Optical.
IBSD. You know the symptoms when they start. Abdominal pain, urgent diarrhea. Now there's prescription Xifaxan. Xifaxan is a new IBSD treatment that helps relieve your diarrhea and abdominal pain symptoms. And Xifaxan works differently. It's a prescription antibiotic that acts mainly in the digestive tract.
Do not use Xifaxan if you have a history of sensitivity to rifaximin, rifamycin antibiotic agents, or any components of Xifaxan. Tell your doctor right away if your diarrhea worsens while taking Xifaxan, as this may be a sign of a serious or even fatal condition. Tell your doctor if you have liver disease or are taking other medications, because these may increase the amount of Xifaxan in your body. Tell your doctor if you are pregnant, plan on becoming pregnant, or are nursing. The most common side effects are nausea and an increase in liver enzymes.
If you think you have IBS with diarrhea, talk to your doctor about new Xifaxan.
Every auto insurance policy has a number. But not every insurance company understands the life behind it. Those who have served our nation have earned the very best service in return. USAA. We know what it means to serve. Get an auto insurance quote and see why 92% of our members plan to stay for life.
Building the only truck with the best fuel economy. An award-winning engine. And a 9,200-pound towing capacity. Takes guts. Overcoming any obstacle, that's the glory. Get a great deal on the trucks that give you both during Ram Truck Month. Now get 0% financing for 60 months, plus up to $2,000 truck month bonus cash on 2016 Ram 15.
Mesothelioma victims and their loved ones may be entitled to a cash award from the $18 billion in asbestos trust funds. And you may not have to file a lawsuit to qualify. If diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos, call the number on your screen now. Even if a loved one had mesothelioma or asbestos lung cancer and has passed, your family may still be entitled to a cash award. Mesothelioma is a rare cancer caused by exposure to asbestos. Many victims worked in the Navy or in shipyards, mills, carpentry, roofing, insulation, construction, or automotive industries. For over 30 years, our legal team has successfully helped thousands of victims and families. Time is limited. You may not have to file a lawsuit if you or a loved one has been diagnosed with mesothelioma or lung cancer caused by exposure to asbestos.
Call 1-800-948-6735. That's 1-800-948-6735.
Now.
When the going gets tough, the tough keep pulling.
All new episodes of Highway Through Hell, Sunday nights at 10 on the Weather Channel.
Yeah!
Heavy snowfall in Indiana causing slick roads and very hazardous driving conditions yesterday. About 40 vehicles involved in a crash on Interstate 65 in Lebanon. At least 10 people were hurt, others stranded that were taken to a Red Cross shelter so they could at least get off the roads. And this wasn't the only accident we had over the weekend, Jen. We also had one on Interstate 70 as well in Indiana, and then a little farther east in Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah, the one on Saturday was a lake effect band that came through. And we look across parts of the Midwest, and we got a big problem with fog this morning. A lot of delays could be possible as we go throughout the day. Visibility down to a quarter mile in St. Louis, and it looks like 3-mile visibility in Indianapolis. That's on the bottom corner of your screen, 24 degrees. Problem is, we're kind of transitioning from that cold to the warm, and that's what happens when you get this locked in. Now, we look for areas like across parts of Missouri, Kansas City. You're going to be 8 degrees above average, 51 degrees. You'll take that. Chicago, still cold, 31, but overall things are looking so much better across parts of the Midwest, especially as we go through the next 2 days. But we have to talk about where we are still dealing with various types of precipitation, Allison.
That's right, yeah, and we've got a lot of them. We're talking snow, we're talking freezing rain, we're talking regular rain, and we're even talking sleet. So let's kind of break down the different types that we have, and it all depends on what temperature the air is from the moment it leaves the cloud until it finally hits the ground. So let's take a look. When it leaves the cloud, the moment it hits warm air and it stays that way, it's going to be in the form of rain. If it leaves the cloud, hits a warm pocket of air, and then freezes on contact with the ground, that's going to be freezing rain, meaning it stays raining the whole way until it actually touches a surface, say your car, the roads, sidewalks, things like that. Sleet is where it leaves, hits a small pocket of warm air, but then returns to a colder pocket of air and is able to kind of create almost like very tiny pieces of hail, although it's still a little bit different than hail. Snow is where it leaves the cloud and then comes all the way back down simply as snow. Never changes one bit the entire time it's there. Again, here is a look at what we have. We have the sleet that kind of bounces off the surface, and you can get some accumulation possible. Now, when the sleet first comes down, you can still drive over it. It gives you a little traction. It's almost like gravel. But once it starts to accumulate, some of those lower levels actually begin to melt and freeze on contact to the road, very similar to freezing rain. And that, Jen, is when it becomes incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to actually drive on the roads.
Yeah, that's right. You know, when we talk about the amount of accumulation, when you go above a quarter inch, we're talking really a lot of impacts that could be setting up. We show you right now what we're expecting out of Winter Storm Olympia, anywhere between a 10 to a quarter inch of icing, setting up for areas, especially including parts of Tennessee, as well as into western parts of North Carolina. Now, this is the area that we're looking at, that pink swath all the way up towards the north, that we'll look at the higher amounts. But when you're talking about a quarter of accumulation, this is going to lead to travel problems. And if you go above that, we're going to be looking at possibly some trees down, as well as, of course, some other problems being affected by this. Now, let's move it ahead and we talk more about Winter Storm Olympia and what we have for today. We've been talking so much about the wedge, and you can see the wedge in place. This is what happens when we get all that cold air just pushed up against the mountains. You just can't get anything to break through. It takes really a lot. And this is where we're going to be locked in with that cold air just to the east of the Appalachians, and that includes areas like North Georgia, as well as into parts of the Carolinas. Now, for today, that warm, moist air, it's going to be surging through. That warm front's going to be lifting through, doing its job, boosting those temperatures up and changing that winter precipitation over to the form of rain as we go later on into the afternoon, as well as into the evening hours. And we're going to see that warm, moist air even working its way all the way up towards the north. But notice that we have a front that's going to be coming through, and by tomorrow we are going to look at the potential for a squall line trying to drive through, and of course kicking off some stronger storm. But back to more of the wintry precipitation. We talk more about the snowfall amounts. We do know 5 to 8 inches generally across parts of West Virginia. For Virginia, like Roanoke, 3 to 5 inches. We do know some areas like Bain in parts of Virginia picked up 9 inches of snowfall. And then, of course, we're going to look at that setting up for areas including parts of Pennsylvania. We continue to time that out. Right now, we'll send it over to Allison.
That's right. Well, coming up, we've got more on Winter Storm Olympia, plus terrifying video as it happens. Skiers overcome by an avalanche. Details after we're back.
Today, windy with scattered thunderstorms. High 75. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, variable clouds with scattered thunderstorms. Low 68. Chance of rain 50%. Tuesday, cloudy skies early, then partly cloudy in the afternoon. High 82. Here's our 7-day outlook.